So the other thing that some people don't really think about, but is actually really important, especially in a business setting, are subject lines. So Anatoly, do you know what a subject line is?
Yes, but your voice for me is breaking up. Maybe it is a problem on my side with internet connection. I'm not sure. Well, could you please repeat question?
Sure. Do you know what a subject line is?
Subject line,
Subject.
maybe the subject line, maybe it is a subject which we are going to discuss.
Yeah, in the context of an email. Do you know what it is?
Title,
Uh-huh. Sure. So
maybe
what
title of email.
the title of the email, more or less. Uh-huh. Fernando, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, okay, great. So do you know what a subject line is? How would you explain what a subject line is?
For a subject line. Okay, is when you in an email, it's when you it's the subject line is how you let the person who is going to receive your email the topic that you want to discuss or talk about.
Exactly right. So yeah, so when you're on the internet and your page, it's what shows up in your inbox, right? It's the first
Yeah.
thing you see before you click on an email, right? Right.
Yes.
So it's actually something that a lot of people either don't put a subject line or don't know what to put for their subject lines. And so even before someone clicks on your email and reads it and gets an impression of you, so literally the first thing they're going to see is the subject line. So it's important to write a good subject line, right? So let's read some do's and don'ts for the subject line. Okay, Anatoly, could you read the do's, please?
Okay, do's. Let your reader know what the email is about. Keep it short but informative.
Good, okay. And then Fernando, could you read the don'ts?
Okay. Make the mail sound urgent when it's not. Use excessive punctuation. Be vague or give a misleading subject line.
Yeah, vague. Do you know what vague means?
Vague. Well, I'm not. Well, it's the very first time I heard that word, but I think it's like not giving something specific.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So when you're vague, it means that you're not really saying anything, right? You're really vague, right? So if the subject line was like email, like that's not very specific and it's way too vague for a subject line. Exactly. Okay. Okay. So now what we're going to do is read some subject lines and determine whether or not they're good subject lines, bad subject lines, and why. So, Anatoly, could you read the first one, please?
Subject lines, good or bad? Are these good subject lines or bad subject lines? Why? Subject, important. Tomorrow's schedule.
Good. So is that an example of a good subject line or a bad subject line? And why?
I think it is good. For me, a little strange to not dot. I don't know explanation two times, not three, not one. It looks strange.
Exclamation mark.
Explanation mark. Yes, and other things I think sound good. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Fernando? Do you think this is a good subject line or a bad subject line, and why?
The first one.
Yeah. Important. Tomorrow's schedule.
I think it's a well, it's a good one because it's saying what it's about and that it's important and it's not so long. So I think it's good.
Okay, so actually, it's an example of a bad subject line because it no worries, because it uses improper capitalization and punctuation, right? So there's no need for important to be in all caps and to use 2 exclamation marks here and then 1 at the end, right? So that's way too much punctuation. It's excessive.
Okay.
It might even be too much just to use 1. right? If it really was urgent, you could say, you know, urgent tomorrow's meeting, like that. That is just as urgent and will be taken just as seriously, if not more seriously, than a subject line that's written like this, right? Because this is almost obnoxious, right? It's all caps is never a good idea because all caps is kind of like you're yelling, right? So you really want to avoid making subject lines in all caps. And then before, like the punctuation is just too much. But otherwise, if it was just important tomorrow's meeting or tomorrow's schedule, it would be fine. So you guys aren't too far off. Just got to keep in mind the punctuation, right? And how appropriate it is to either be in all caps or not. Okay. So Fernando, could you read the second one?
Okay. It's scheduling question for -6.
Oh, yeah, so that'd be like, you know, like June 4th.
Pardon?
So like June 4th. Like it's a date, right? June 4th.
Okay, June 4th. Yeah, but just a question, the symbol of that line is dash, right?
Or slash.
Slash.
Or dash.
Okay. Nice.
Slash, and then dash is like this. Dash is this.
Okay.
Slash is this and dash is horizontal.
Okay, nice.
Okay. So, what do you think about that one? Is that a good subject line or a bad subject line? And why?
Well, I think it's a bad one because no. Sorry. No, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Okay.
Just I got confused because when I read that date on that way, I don't know. It's because maybe it could be interpreted in another way, but I think it's okay.
Good. Okay. Good. What about you, Anatoly? What do you think? Do you think it's a good one or a bad one?
I think it is a bad one because I don't understand this subject line. Scheduling question.
What don't you understand about it?
This line. What is going to happen when people receive this email?
So scheduling question, right? So a question about scheduling. So this is actually a really good subject line because it's extremely specific, right? So you know it's going to be a question or an issue about scheduling, and you know exactly the date in which the question is about, right? Without it being really long, right? So it's not like it's going to be like here. I'm going to write one in the chat box. So it's not like, hey, I have a question about April 6th, right? So that's too long of a subject line, right? Like, hey, I have a question about April 6th. But if you want to be really concise, just saying scheduling question 4/6 is actually really good because you know exactly what it's going to be about. You know what day it's going to be about, and you know it has to do with scheduling. Does that make sense? Anatoly?
Yes. One more question about urgent. Is it common word? Urgent.
Urgent.
Or not?
Yep. Very, very much so, right? So, like I said earlier in the chat box, so if you do have an email that actually is urgent, right? That's actually urgent, like it needs to be read and taken care of before a certain time. You can preface it by saying this, right? Like urgent meeting issue or something like that. It's extremely common. Is that good, Anatoly? Anatoly?
Thank you. Yes.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Good.
Okay.
Okay. Could you read the next subject line, Anatoly?
Yes. What happened?
What happened? Is that a good example or a bad example?
Because it is not informative,
Exactly.
and if the question doesn't informative, because what happened about what
Exactly. Exactly.
we don't know.
Perfect. Good. And so then what about you, Fernanda? What do you think? There's one more problem, right? So that's exactly right, right? It's too vague, right? We have no idea what it's talking. Oh, we just lost him. Okay. Well, Fernanda, what do you think about that one? There's one more thing that's wrong.
Well, I think it's wrong because okay, it's not being specific, and at the same time it's like mixing the punctuation signs because you're putting the interrogation sign and the exclamation.
Exactly, huh? So it's way too much punctuation. Exactly. If you really want to ask a question, you just need one, right? You just need a question mark. Exactly. Good. Okay. 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 So Fernanda, could you read the next one?
Okay, well, no subject.
Exactly. So is that example of a good or a bad one?
Definitely a bad one.
Exactly. And why?
Because it's not being specific, even that person didn't take the care of writing something about to inform or to say something, just send it without what
Exactly.
was careless.
Exactly, right? Because that's what happens if you don't write anything in the subject line. That's what it shows up as, right? So if I'm looking at my email and I have an email, it'll just say no subject in parentheses. Yeah. So
Yes.
honestly, and this is something that a lot of people look over because, like, if you don't write a subject line and then it arrives to someone like a job recruiter and it says no subject, they could think that it's spam and never click on it, right? So if it doesn't have a good subject line, they might not even give it the time of day, right, and not even click on it at all, thinking that it's like a spam or email meant for someone else, or just like not what they think it is. So it's really important to write a subject line. Exactly.
Okay. I've just got a question. How do you call that signs that are, I don't know sure if are brackets or
Parentheses. Parentheses.
parentheses? Oh, parentheses.
Parentheses.
Okay. And these ones are those ones.
Brackets.
So okay. Okay. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
the ones that are more square are brackets, and the ones that are rounder are parentheses.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. So Anatoly, can you hear? Is your connection okay?
Yes, I
Yeah. Okay.
hear.
Okay. Could you read this one?
Meeting notes from Monday.
Good.
Meeting notes from Monday.
So is that a good example or a bad example?
I think it is a good example.
Good. And why?
Because it is just information, short information, and just title about what this person was going to say.
Awesome. Good. So you know exactly what the email is going to be about, right? It's going to be the meeting notes from Monday. Good. Okay. Fernanda, could you read the next one?
Okay. Hi.
Good. So, good example or bad example?
Bad example.
And why?
Because it has no information there, and I don't know. It seems like unpolite.
Exactly, right? Okay, so this is why this class is called business email writing, because normally, let's say if you're writing an email to your sister or your mom, right, that's a totally fine subject line, right? If you're just saying hi, just writing to someone. But if you're writing to your boss or a colleague or someone that's like a client for work, definitely not a good idea to start a subject line.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So Anatoly, could you read the next one?
Page proofs for Linden book.
Okay. Do you know what page proofs are?
Page I know, proofs not sure.
Yeah. So this is actually, it's a technical term in the publishing industry. So if you're going to publish a book, before you send it out to the press, you have to make page proofs, which are exact PDFs of exactly what the book is going to look like, and everyone has to sign them off and approve them before they go out. So that's what a page proof is. It's kind of a technical term. But so this would be hypothetically, right, an email that you would find in between people in a publishing agency, right? So.
Yes.
So with that information, you think that's a good example or a bad example?
Good example, because
Okay.
it is also short information.
Exactly, right? You know exactly what it's going to be. You know that attached probably is going to be the page proofs for the Linden book, right? Okay. Okay. And Fernanda, the next.
Okay, it says lunch on Tuesday.
Good. So good or bad, and why?
Um, I'm not sure about if it is good or bad because it's not too long and it's being kind of specific because it's saying about there's a lunch on Tuesday, but it could be a business lunch with your boss and others, or it could be just a lunch to hanging out. So I'm not sure if it is good or bad.
Exactly. No, that's a really good evaluation, right? So it depends, right? It depends what it's about. But it could be more specific, right? Because it could be like, lunch with, I don't know, lunch with clients, right? Like client lunch on Tuesday. That is more specific, right? Because then you know that you're meeting with a client and it has to be a really formal situation. So right, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, and then the last one, Anatoly, could you read the last one, please?
Help me need ideas for a project.
Good. So is that a good one or a bad one?
For informal email between
Yes.
friends, it would be appropriate, but for other cases not.
Exactly. Good. Okay. So why exactly? So what is bad about it? What are the things that you could change?
It is informal applying. Help me.
Right, so help me, right? All caps again, like I said before, something you're going to want to avoid.
Yes.
And then this, right? This is way too informal. Don't use numbers instead of words, right? It should be SOR.
The first project or for projects.
Exactly. Yeah, so
Not to arrive.
perfect. Good. Okay.